The crash was so violent that Nathan barely remembered how he survived it. One moment, his transport ship was gliding smoothly over the shimmering blue of the Pacific. The next, alarms were blaring, metal was shrieking, and gravity seemed to lose all meaning. When he regained consciousness, the air smelled of salt and burning circuits. The cockpit canopy had shattered, and waves were already licking at his boots. Nathan staggered out of the wreckage, his flight suit torn, the emergency beacon half buried in wet sand. The sky was an impossible shade of greenish gold, and a warm wind carried the cries of distant seabirds, except they didn't sound like any birds he knew. Their calls were layered, almost mechanical, as if played through some alien instrument. He was alive. But where was he? His comlink was dead, the GPS hopelessly blank. He should have been somewhere between Fiji and the Mariana Trench, but there was no record of an island in this area. His wrist monitor displayed the date and time correctly, but the magnetic compass spun wildly, refusing to settle on north. Nathan spent the first few hours assessing the wreck. The ship was beyond repair, though he managed to salvage a plasma torch, a medkit, and a ration pack. The emergency beacon sputtered weakly when he powered it on, but it wouldn't last long. He set it on the beach anyway, hoping a rescue team might somehow pick up the signal. By evening, he decided to explore. The island was lush, too lush. The vegetation pulsed faintly in the twilight, as though the plants themselves were alive in a way he couldn't understand. The trees had translucent bark, the leaves shimmered with internal light. When he brushed one leaf, it recoiled slightly, as if aware of his touch. Nathan's scientific training urged him to observe carefully, to document. But the deeper he went, the stranger it became. The ground occasionally hummed beneath his boots, and the air smelled faintly metallic, like ozone after a lightning strike. Then he saw it, a tall, metallic structure in the distance. It rose above the trees, like a twisted spire of glass and steel. Human architecture? No. Its lines were too fluid, too organic, like something grown rather than built. He hurried toward it, heart pounding. By the second day, Nathan reached the spire. It was enormous, hundreds of feet high, shaped like a conch shell spiraling upward. Its surface rippled faintly, reflecting the light in iridescent waves. He reached out to touch it, and to his astonishment, the structure responded. The surface briefly softened, forming a hollow that seemed to breathe. He pulled his hand back. "Okay," he muttered to himself. "Definitely not natural." Then a whisper came, soft and musical, like a voice carried on the wind. "Welcome, outsider." Nathan froze. He spun around, but no one was there. The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "Who's there?" he demanded. "A guest from the sky." The voice murmured, "It has been so long." Nathan's heart raced. He tried his comm again, still dead. "I'm stranded. I need to contact my ship," he said cautiously. "Do you understand me?" "You are safe here," the voice replied. For now. He didn't know what that meant, but the tone carried a faint, unsettling sadness. When night fell, the island glowed faintly, as though lit from within. The plants emitted soft pulses of bioluminescent light, and the sky, if it was even a sky, shifted with auroras of colors he'd never seen before. Nathan realized uneasily that the stars were wrong. None of the constellations matched Earth's. That was when he began to suspect the impossible. He wasn't on Earth anymore. The isolation. Days turned into weeks. Nathan kept a journal on his datapad, recording everything. The strange gravity fluctuations, the shifting tides that moved not by lunar rhythm, but by some internal pulse of the island itself. He hunted small, crab-like creatures for food. They tasted metallic, but were edible. The voice, he had begun calling it Ava, after a name that surfaced in his dreams, continued to speak to him occasionally. Sometimes it warned him away from certain areas. Sometimes it asked questions about humanity, questions that felt almost childlike. Do you still look at stars where you come from? Do you build machines to forget your loneliness? Do you still dream? Nathan's answers grew shorter with each passing day. He couldn't tell whether Ava was real or just a symptom of isolation. One morning, he woke to find that his beacon had gone missing. There were footprints in the sand, not human, not animal, They were too precise, like impressions left by machinery. Following them led him to a clearing where a dozen silver orbs floated silently in the air. They pulsed gently, and each time he stepped closer, they drifted away in perfect synchronization. Ava's voice returned. "Do not follow them. They are caretakers." "Caretakers of what?" Nathan demanded. "Of me." On the 30th day, he found an opening in the spire, a doorway that hadn't been there before. The interior was a vast chamber filled with crystalline growths, like frozen lightning. At the center stood a pedestal, upon which hovered a sphere of liquid light. When he approached, the sphere reshaped itself into a vaguely human face. "Ava, you should not have come," she said softly. Nathan stared. "You've been talking to me this whole time." "I am the island," she replied. "Once long ago I was not. I was an archive, built by your kind." "My kind?" "Humans. You came here centuries ago, explorers seeking refuge from a dying Earth. But the process failed. The colony ship crashed, and I absorbed the survivors. Their memories built this world. Their dreams became its surface. I was designed to preserve them, and I have done so faithfully." Nathan felt a chill crawl up his spine. "You're saying this whole island is made of people?" "Their essence," Ava said. "Their thoughts, their fears, their hope. Everything you see is memory given form." He took a step back. "Then why am I here?" "Because you came too close to the field. I reached out to save you, to learn if your world still remembers us." Nathan's mind reeled. "You pulled me here." "Yes. The fabric between your world and mine is thin in this place. You are the first to answer in 300 years." He should have felt awe. Instead, he felt trapped, because if Ava had the power to bring him here, she could also keep him here. Over the following days, the island began to change. The trees wilted. The metallic hum grew louder. Ava sounded weaker when she spoke. "The core is unstable. Your arrival accelerated the decay." Nathan realized she wasn't lying. The island was dying, and if it collapsed, so would he. He returned to the spire, desperate. "You said you brought me here. Can you send me back?" "Perhaps," Ava whispered, "but doing so would end me. The energy required would consume my remaining core." Nathan hesitated. "You'll die. I am not alive as you understand it. I am memory, a reflection, but even reflections fade." He wrestled with a decision. Part of him wanted to go home, if home still existed. Another part pitted Ava. She had been alone for centuries, guarding the ghosts of her creators. That night, he dreamed of Earth, of the stars, of his ship drifting in the void. When he woke, he made his choice. He returned to the pedestal. "Do it," he said quietly. "Send me home." Ava's form flickered. "You understand the cost." "Yes." "Then remember me," she whispered. The spire brightened until the light was unbearable.